Hello YouTube. This is going to be the first of one of my restoration videos that I think I'll start doing here. What we have here is a vintage non-monogrammed Zippo lighter that I received from my brother as a gift, and the only stipulation was that he requested I do a video on YouTube of me restoring it. So, as we can tell here, overall, I mean, it's kind of banged up a bit, but still looks to be in fairly serviceable condition. The outside is pretty good overall. However, the lid comes right off, and you can see, well, not sure if the camera is going to pick it up very well, but it's pretty grody in there. So you can see here that the actual lighter mechanism here is just caked with what looks to be dirt and maybe a little corrosion. And this part here, which connects to the inside of this, seems to have came off some time ago. So that will probably be the last thing that we will fix up. Now normally, for something like this, I would go and use a toothbrush to clean this up. However, I am currently out of toothbrushes there that I feel like using up that I'm not currently using. So what I will be using here is just good old-fashioned paper towel. And what I will be using to be cleaning it up is going to be 100% white vinegar, which I found to be really good at removing just a little bit of everything. So to take care of the inside of this, what I will be doing is just taking and wadding up my paper towel, soaking it in a bit of the vinegar, like so. I'm just going to stick it in there. We're just going to let that sit while I go ahead and start working on cleaning this up. So I'm not going to bore you all with the scrubbing and all of that. So we will be back after a few minutes of scrubbing. Okay, so we're back here now, and it's been probably about, I'd say maybe an hour that I've been toiling away at this, but as you can see here, try and get the light just right here, but we've got quite a bit less grime and corrosion throughout. Now, I did do a little bit of buffing here, but because of kind of how dented it is about here, it's a little hard to get some of my jeweler's rouge, which I have right here on an old pair of jeans. I just rubbed a bit of this all up across here and then just rubbed it here, and it gets a fair amount. And I did come and take another old piece of blue jean and just got some on here and just rubbed away at it. And if I spend some more time on it, I'm sure I could get the good majority of this off. Now the camera, I don't think, is picking it up very well. I'm not usually used to doing these kind of videos, but there's a bit of the writing on here that is now legible, but because it's so faint, it's kind of hard to see in the light. And the insides of these, what I did is I just took some paper towel, soaked it in the vinegar, and then just stuffed it in there and let it sit for maybe about a half hour. And then I come back through and take some fresh paper towel and a toothpick and go in here and just kind of grind off the stuff. And then most of it, the big point of the vinegar is to loosen it up there. It's not necessarily like dissolve it, but it gets in there. It's a low grade acid, so it gets in there and kind of breaks it up for you, just so you can kind of start, you know, etching it away. Which is also how I got into the finer tooth cracks and spots like in here, which would be normally kind of a pain to try and get in there even with a toothbrush, but you can kind of pick away at it and then come back and then just start wiping it off. Usually what I'll do is I'll take and again, one of my paper towels just soaked with a bit of the vinegar, come in, wipe it down a bit, and then come back, wipe it off dry. And that gets a good most of the gunk right off. As you can see here, this is now completely clean of all the gunk that was on there before. So next here, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and put in new flint, even though the old one here seems to spark all right. I still want to make sure here that we're going in this with absolutely fresh everything here. We also have a brand new wick, so we'll go ahead and get those installed, and when we're finished, we're going to reattach the lid to the lid mechanism. So we'll be back in a few moments. Alright, so now I'm not going to show the instructions here, or the actual performance of doing so, but follow the kit's instructions here of removing the old flint, which you can barely see here, was pretty well worn. Now the string, on the other hand, wasn't in horrible shape. However, I did opt to go with a brand new one, you know, just because. Want to make sure everything's fresh and good, which again, you can follow the instructions that comes with your replacement wick to get that. But as you can see here, we are now set up to rock and roll. So the next thing I'm going to do is get this reattached to this little mechanism, which, as you can see, we did a pretty good job of cleaning up here. And so what I'm going to use is Loctite. This stuff works pretty well, and we're just going to get that slipped on there. What I'm going to do is get this back into place, like so. Get this closed up so it's already in position. We're just going to put a bit of Loctite right on here, get this brought back in. We're just going to hold it, you know, for maybe a minute. I'm just going to push down like so, and then we should be good to go. So we'll be back in just a few moments here. Okay, so it's been about 5 minutes. Now naturally, whenever working with super glue of any kind, you got to be careful of it spreading to places that you didn't intend. I got a little bit on the case here, and a little bit on the hinge, and a little bit on the lighter here itself, but I was able to wipe a lot of that off. But this isn't going to be fully done all here, but as you can see, lighter now opens and closes as intended, and it stays in place. So Loctite's doing its job. If I work it for a while here, I'm sure what little got into the opening mechanism there will work it out and be a little bit less stiff. But overall, we're good. So the last thing we have to do here, and flip this up, let's go ahead, put a little bit of fluid in here. So a little bit of the actual Zippo fluid. We'll just pour it in there. Let it soak in a bit. And that should be good. Alright, let that just sit there for just a little bit, kind of work its way down, let gravity do its work. Alright. Alright, that should be good. Let's go ahead, flip it around. It's kind of a snug fit, but there we go. Flip this down. And let's see. There we go. We have fire. So, that is a successful restoration of this vintage Zippo lighter. I think next I'll probably see about getting my initials monogrammed in here. But alright, hopefully that was useful to anybody that felt like watching this here, and if anybody would like to see any other restoration projects, certainly let me know. Might post up a few things here soon, so certainly leave a comment. Love to hear from you, and if you got any tips or tricks you'd like to share, I'd love to hear those too. So alright, thanks for watching.